Heyo everybody, Haku here with a discussion on Tower of God, of course like usual, and this one is going to be on, do I think Zahard and the 10 families, do I think that the whole Zahard Empire or whatever is evil? And this was suggested to me in the comments. Thank you to whoever did suggest it. But seriously, thank you for suggesting it, because it's a really good topic and I'm very interested to hear your thoughts too, so throw your thoughts in the comments definitely. My thoughts personally, I think that if they aren't evil, they're at the very least corrupt, but I do think they are quite a bit evil. And I'm going to use some different characters that we know of as my evidence and sort of my supporting statements here. But first, comparing, Zahard's empire has done a lot of bad shit that we've seen so far, but they haven't really been presented as our enemies. The people presented as our enemies have been FUG, and while FUG has some really bad shit, like, say, Karaka from what we know, or of course White and killing a billion people, or say Baylord Yama, there's some bad stuff going on from FUG, and we've seen them as enemies, but we haven't, other than Lopo B or Ren, we haven't really seen enemies from the Zahard Empire. And that's interesting given that we've seen a lot more bad shit from them. And the bad stuff from them has been pretty much used as just developing stuff for our main characters or for FUG characters that we're fighting against. So I think that maybe later on we're going to see a lot more of the Zahard Empire as the bad guys again, because we still need to get into a lot more about the princesses and the 10 families. We're definitely going to get into a lot more of that. We're probably going to have plenty more workshop stuff, and same with, dang it, I'm forgetting here. Same with the Royal Enforcement Division, that's what I was thinking of. So we have a ton of stuff that we still have yet to see in the series come and play more roles, but I think that at some point the Zahard Empire is going to be an antagonist group. Now, getting into my evidence for them being evil, I'm going to say, first off, look at Reflejo. Reflejo worked for FUG, but why? Why did he get, was it Lord Poken's power? Why did he take some of his power and just go on to work for FUG? And it's because he looked at a future Princess of Zahard, a woman who was being made into a princess. He looked at her, and the 10 families slaughtered his entire family and sewed his eyes shut. That is insane. That's finding out at the very end of the entire story of Reflejo, finding out when he was dying or whatever, that is his past, was incredible to me. I was pretty blown away reading week to week. I was like, this guy that I thought was a douchebag this whole time, I feel really bad for him. I mean, Reflejo was still a dick, but that was a very traumatizing experience, I'm sure, for him, and he had reasons for what he did because of the 10 families. Next up, look at Ha Jinsung. He's a member of the Ha family that went over to FUG, so that's pretty insane. And why did he do it? He fell in love with a girl, and she was sold as a slave to another branch family. So he slaughtered the entire branch family. It's a pretty crazy response, and she died in that process, I believe. But, or she could have died, and maybe that is one of the reasons, but I'm pretty sure that she died as as part of him killing off that entire branch. He didn't mean for her to die, but she died during the event. Now, of course, that's insane, and it's so crazy how the concept of slavery and stuff, the way it exists, of course, is bad, but to show how it can send even a powerful high ranker from a 10 family to FUG's side is pretty incredible at showing how evil the Zahard Empire can be. Next, look at Bay Road and the fighting pits. Bayroad existed before Baylord Yama took it over, so the fighting pits were already there before they were in FUG's hands. So that all existed on the Zahard Empire's watch, and then also the Flower of Zygana being slaughtered by the Yeon family to keep the jewel that it has on its head, its back, to keep the jewel more rare. They were slaughtering baby Zyganas. Then we see Andrasi's brutal past, where she's got to compete and just try to survive just to get food, and then that's the process for her, and probably the process for a lot of girls trying to become a princess of Zahard. The Kun family only determines its true children by yearly fights. That itself is pretty brutal, and we've seen how Kun, one of our main characters, does not like that. So really, it's really setting up the Empire as bad guys in all of this. And of course, Wangnan didn't like how they allowed the how the nature of climbing the tower was under the watch of Zahard's Empire. So, like, we have so many characters that do not like the Empire for really proper reasons. Next up, look at Angel, whose her birth name was Ragwell? But Angel's a character that I've really come to like more and more, and she was given away, she was sold because she was only half Ten family. She was only half noble, and that is, again, just showing all of these characters with vendettas against the Ten families, and showing how the Zahard Empire is just letting all this bad stuff happen, even being the perpetrators of some of this bad stuff. Like, I'd say there's a lot of evidence already that they're evil, and I think I have a few more. Of course, there's friggin' Akraptor, and I love Akraptor. Akraptor, we've seen in his flashback that his daughter was taken from him, so he wants to climb the tower to be strong enough to protect the ones he loves. So his daughter was taken from him, and of course there are all the theories out there that because he has a grudge against the status quo, against the way the tower is run, against the Zahard Empire, it is sort of theorized that maybe his daughter was taken by the Empire to be possibly made into a princess. But also we've seen that they sell women as slavery to the Ten families, so it's always a possibility that that's what happened to his daughter. She was just sold as a slave to the Ten families. We've got all the evil experiments of the workshop, what they did to children, what happened to Beta and Horyang, and there's all of that. And the workshop is sort of sanctioned by / working with the Zahard Empire. So, I mean, again, they're letting this terrible stuff happen. Look at the stuff with Traveler and Emily. The way Emily is allowed to exist as one of the cruel experiments. Then Lopo Biaren, who was even a rookie from the Royal Enforcement Division, that was sent to kill Anak Zahard and her child, her daughter. So who else, and we saw Lopo Biaren and his strength and everything. Well, who else is in the Royal Enforcement Division that's going to be way stronger? Now, we know that Zahard conquered the tower as he climbed it, so I think that may be the reason why, maybe tower natives hate him and they make up a lot of FUG, and Grace Merche Luzlek. I think there's a lot of story yet to be told between Grace Merche Luzlek and Zahard, because the two of them climbed the tower together as allies. Then, for whatever reason, Grace Merche Luzlek turns around and becomes the first slayer of FUG, founds FUG. So it just seems to me like there's a lot of story left to be told there, and maybe Grace Merche Luzlek saw the conquering of the tower firsthand, and he said, this has gone too far, Zahard's gone too far, we need to stop him, and that's why he founded FUG. We still have a lot to learn there. So in the end, I think that there's good people and bad people in both the Zahard Empire and FUG, but I think that both are probably going to be on the evil side, and they're going to be kind of antagonists overall. I think that our good guys, the more moderate group, is going to be Walhaiksong. I think that Walhaiksong's going to play a pretty decently big role throughout the story, especially in the late story. And they're going to sort of be the good guy influence with Bomb's team. They're going to ally themselves with Bomb's team. Because I think so far what we've seen of them, Yuri's team, they seem all like good guys. Hatchling is one of them, and he has Liroro and Quant with him now. Mazano seems like a good guy, same with Baekryun. But of course I could be wrong, because I think we're still going to find out about more guilds and groups in the future. Because it was a while in before we learned about FUG. We were already in the second part of the story. And Pedro said something about, like, now the things that protect people in the tower are guilds or families. So if you're not a part of a 10 family, you're probably a part of a guild, or you're like part of one or the other or both. So I think it's interesting to note that we've seen, like, I would consider maybe, even though it's a religious thing, FUG probably consider kind of a guild, and the same is true, of course, of Walhaiksong, and there are probably more out there that we have yet to find. So that's it. On my thoughts of whether they're evil or not, I do think the Zahard Empire is probably more evil than good, and they're corrupt at the very least. But I think they will serve as antagonists at some point. So I thank you all so much for watching. Like if you did like it. Comment down there. Definitely tell me your thoughts and stance on this. Subscribe for more Tower of God, One Piece, The Walking Dead, and a lot more, because I will be doing at least 3 or 4 videos on each of those series every single week, plus a bunch of other stuff. Follow on Twitter for updates whenever I post a video or anything needs to be pushed back. I thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.